What are you saying, Ray?
I'm saying, what's in it for me?
Raymond, am I using you, Raymond?
This is the Total Sports Experience.
There's going to be rumors about this. There's no way to stop it.
And now your host,
Ray, are you in here?
Ray Baker.
I missed going 5-hole on you.
You should never be allowed to talk to people.
Dude, that was a hell of an intro. I am honored and I am touched.
Can I officially say that sports is back? I'd like to say that that's the case. Welcome in, everybody, to another weekly edition of the Total Sports Experience. I am your host, Ray Baker. I'm going to swing this camera around. We're on Instagram Live. We're on Twitch. We're on Mixcloud. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. I don't know where else we are, but we're everywhere. Thank you for joining us for another edition here of the TSE show. As we... I couldn't have planned this better, by the way, as we open up the 2021 NHL season as well. The games are fully underway. Habs and Leafs are underway right now. The Penguins and Flyers just finished a game where the Flyers won. That was a great one. We currently right now have on Tampa Bay, Chicago, which that one's on as well. And look, it is everywhere. I am very, very excited. But and I think I mentioned we're going to go from 6 to 7. We're not. We have 6 to 6:30, just a half hour, because we have a lot of other stuff to do. But next week we're going to give you not one weekly show, but 2 weekly shows. We're going to be on twice next week because there's a lot of stuff we have to set up for you. So let me get you into the studio. Hey, how is everybody? Instagram Live, how are you? Right there. Instagram's right there. Mixcloud, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, all right there. We're back from the road. We had two shows on location. We're going to get back to that in just a second. I'm going to tell you more about that. However, let's start off with some of the news that has happened. First of all, let's congratulate the Alabama Crimson Tide for winning the national championship, and the Heisman Trophy winner, Devontae Smith, who had an unbelievable first half, did not play much in the second half and actually got injured in the second half. But congratulations to, I think we can safely call that team or that program right now a dynasty. 6 championships in, I want to say 12 seasons, maybe 14 seasons, but Nick Saban and the guys that have gone down there to Alabama have done an amazing job running that program. So congratulations to the Tide. Roll Tide for all of you Alabama fans out there. As we look at some of the other stories now, and I don't want to jump around, but we're going to jump around a little bit tonight in the half hour that we have. So we're going to run down some NHL stuff. We're going to look at the NFL games that are set up for this weekend because they are fantastic. 4 fantastic games coming up this weekend to set up your AFC and NFC championship games. However, let's start in the NBA, because as the NBA season now is rolling on, there were places and things that we thought may happen. One of them just happened today. James Harden has been moved and is no longer a Houston Rocket. Now, I know that's not news to you. I'm sure you're watching it. But the Rockets sent James Harden to the Nets. This is where this gets interesting. So the Nets, and follow me here for a second because there's a lot of moving pieces, okay? The Nets have sent Houston a package that would include multiple players, draft picks, and the featured guard in that is Karis LeVert, who was then traded to the Pacers for Victor Oladipo. You following me so far? Jarrett Allen and forward Taurean Prince are headed from the Nets to the Cavaliers in that deal. And then the Rockets would receive Cleveland guard Dante Exum and Rodions Kurucs from Brooklyn. Followed all that? Okay. The biggest thing you need to know is James Harden now is a New Jersey Net. Here's why I'm confused by this. James Harden is a great player. Don't get me wrong. You already have two guys that want to be the man in Brooklyn. Did I say New Jersey Nets? I think I said New Jersey Nets. I apologize. You've got two guys that already want to be the man in Brooklyn. Now you bring in a third guy who's the same type of personality. And by the way, you already have a problem with Kyrie Irving. I don't know that this was the look. If you're making moves to win the championship and to go up against the Lakers, because let's be honest here. The Lakers right now. I'm not a Laker apologist. I broadcast from Los Angeles, but I say this in truth. The Lakers are set up to win it again this year. Correct me if I'm wrong. Text me and tell me I'm wrong. They're set up to do that. So if you're Brooklyn, you've got to bring in what you can. But you also have to bring in what you can that will fit into your system and work. Kyrie's already a problem. Kevin Durant wants to be the guy. James Harden wants to be the guy. He wasn't getting the support in Houston. I fully understand that. I'm going to be interested to see where this goes. By the way, Adrian Wojnarowski and Ramona Shelburne reported all this from ESPN earlier today. I'm interested to see how this plays out now, because of all the teams that could have gone that way to get James Harden, I don't think Brooklyn was the ideal spot for Harden or for Brooklyn, if that makes sense. But again, tell me I'm wrong. Let's see what else is going on. Lakers right now at the half, 58-46 for that one. Dallas is up on Charlotte, 103-88 at the moment that we're talking here. Milwaukee's beating Detroit, 108-92. Brooklyn is up 85-69 on the New York Knickerbockers. And Memphis and Minnesota are at the half. It's 58-56 Minnesota. The Clippers are playing later tonight. Portland's in Sacramento later tonight. And the full slate, again, Lakers winning right now at the half. 58-46 over the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're gonna talk more about this, and I think next week's show, I'm gonna have one of my insiders on for the NBA. We're gonna have Corey Nalen from Sportsnet USA on next week. I'm gonna have him join me and co-host one of the shows with me and explain to me that this is a good trade for one of them. Is it a good trade for Brooklyn? Is it a good trade for James Harden? I'm concerned that it's not a good trade for either one of them, that neither side of that is going to be happy. We'll find out. Let's see how this plays out. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of opinions about this. I'd like to hear it from you. Remember, this is your show. I'm just your host. NHL kicks off tonight. I could not have planned this better, by the way, to have our show on a Wednesday, every week on a Wednesday that we started a while back, and now the start of the NHL season kicks off. Could not be happier, but the Lightning are underway. The first period is over. If you want to watch it later, sorry. It's 3-0 Lightning already after the first period. So the Cup defense kicks off right away, and they did not skip a beat. Kucherov is out for the season for the Tampa Bay Lightning, but they're getting Palat. Andre Palat has scored a goal tonight. They get their captain, Steven Stamkos, back, and they've added a lot on the back end for the blue line as well. Big, young, strong defenseman on the backside blue line for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So this should be a pretty fun title defense for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Other games that are underway right now, Maple Leafs Canadiens end of the second. That one's tied 3-3. That one's going on right now. Again, we mentioned at the top of the show, Flyers Penguins. I'm going to tell you, I watched that game. Flyers Penguins today. 3 goals. Look, not much of a training camp, not much of a practices beforehand. So there's a little bit of rust, I think. There's a little bit of cohesiveness. There's a little bit of chemistry that still has to form, I think. But we'll see how that goes. Canadians have just scored early on in the third period. It is now 4-3 Habs over the Maple Leafs. But I think a lot of that chemistry still has to build. But the Flyers did look pretty darn good. 2 goals in 20 seconds in the third period for the Flyers, and they topped the Penguins 6-3. Carter Hart also in net for the Flyers. That's the future in net for the Flyers. He's got something good. He'll be fun to watch going forward. Again, the Lightning up on the Blackhawks 3-0. Sorry, just getting the updates there, right there. 3-0. The Lightning again. They're storming off. The other game that's going to be on NBC CSN later today or later tonight, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, is Blues Avalanche. We mentioned that with Tom Calhoun, who joined us on the shows when we were on location this weekend. So it'd be nice to have him back in the Enterprise Center and the Blues on the road. There won't be the Enterprise Center tonight, but the Blues on the road to open up the season at the Colorado Avalanche. And the Avs, in some areas, I don't know that I'm with this, but the Avs are picked in Vegas. The Avs are picked to win the Stanley Cup. They have the best odds to win the Stanley Cup this year. I don't know that I would give them the best odds to win the Stanley Cup. I mean, look, after one period, the Lightning look awfully, awfully good, so I'm sure that's going to change. Vegas is up at the top 3. The Lightning are up there. You know, boy, that's... I like the Avalanche, but I think it's too early to put them as the number one contender for the Stanley Cup. If you're with me here locally, you got Kings, you've got Ducks. Both of your teams are going to open up tomorrow as we look at all that. The Kings are going to open up tomorrow at home against the Minnesota Wild, and then the Ducks open up at home tomorrow against the Vegas Golden Knights. So it should be pretty fun. Let's look at a couple more things as we get about halfway through our show here. And again, only half hour today, but that's because next week, 2 shows. That's right. We're going to give you 2 shows next week. It's going to be awesome. And we've got 4 brand new podcast episodes that are about to get launched as well. Hey, let me look at something. Let me show you guys something really fast. Not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend, the 23rd and the 24th, and for Instagram, I apologize, it's not on here, but we are going to be live again at Mountain Mike's Pizza. We're working on stuff with Mountain Mike's, though I can hopefully say at one point the TSE show powered by Mountain Mike's Pizza, but we're not there yet. We're not there. We're working on it. But here's what I need you to do. We set out the trivia question. I'm going to give it to you again tonight to win a free pizza from Mountain Mike's, a free large pepperoni pizza from Mountain Mike's. Delicious. I had pizza. I had sandwiches. Delicious stuff when we were there over the weekend. So go check that out, please. Again, Mountain Mike's Pizza. There's the Fountain Valley location. There's the Costa Mesa location. However, the free pizza will be good at any location. So we really were trying to help out Mountain Mike's Pizza, and they're helping us out by allowing us to broadcast live from their locations. That's pretty awesome. So go check out there. You can order online. They'll deliver it to you. When things get back, they actually have a buffet there. You can meet me there because we're going to do a lot of shows from those locations. So go order your Mountain Mike's Pizza today. Tell them the TSE show sent you, and you'll get a good deal on that. But we're going to be there again the weekend, the 23rd and the 24th. The 23rd will be there right before all the prelims start for UFC 257. Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. That's going to be an amazing time. So you're going to want to join us for UFC. We're going to have the guys from Jiu-Jitsu Dummies with us. We're going to have our UFC Insider with us. It's going to be a great time. And then the next day is even bigger, the 24th, because that is the AFC and NFC Championship games. And we're about to break down the NFL and see what that's all about. But we have a couple other questions in NFL too. So let's switch for a second. Let's go to NFL. And again, we're just in the podcast studio, so there's no cool transition music or anything like that. But we're working on that. Don't worry. All right, let's bring you back here to the studio. And so here's a couple things NFL-wise. NFL games are set for this coming weekend. First game that's going to kick you off is Saturday. If you're on the West Coast or with us here, Saturday is 1:35 p.m. It's Rams-Packers. Now, there was a question on why the Packer game was not at night, but it starts at 4:35 in Green Bay. Are they 2 hours? They might start at 3:35 Green Bay time, but still in the late afternoon, going into early morning, or into early evening hours as well. Sorry. There's no, never mind. I was going to drop a radio thing on you, but don't worry about it. All right, so Rams-Packers. I'm taking the Packers in this game. I took the Packers all the way through to the Super Bowl, but the Packers, I think, are going to put a smackdown on the Rams. And I know I'm from Los Angeles, and we broadcast here, but I really think that the Rams are going to be outmatched here. I think the Green Bay Packers have to lay an egg for the Rams to win, right? The Rams' defense is good, and they've held them through. You've got 2 banged-up quarterbacks in Los Angeles. You've got your best player on the field in Los Angeles hurt, so even if he's playing at 60%, it's not going to be enough. This is a high-flying offense, and it's Aaron Rodgers. It's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and in a prime year, let's just put it that way, in an MVP-type year for Aaron Rodgers, and the Rams are going to need everything and then some, and then they're going to need the Packers to roll over if they're going to win that game. So it's Packers all the way in Lambeau. I know my buddy Mark Pavlovich will love that, but it is going to be Green Bay all day long against the Rams on Saturday. The second game on Saturday is the one, of course, if you follow us and you follow the show, you know why I'm excited about this one. Ravens at Rich Stadium, that's right, I said it, or Bill Stadium, if you want to call it that, in Orchard Park against the Buffalo Bills. This, to me, is probably the second most exciting game of the weekend. Here's why. Aside from it being Buffalo, let's take that out of the equation for a second. The Buffalo Bills are playing some of the best football and have the longest winning streak in the NFL this season at 7 games. You've got one of the most dynamic quarterbacks, young quarterbacks in the NFL, in Josh Allen. By the way, I've been saying that since he got here in Buffalo, but that's okay. You've also got a highlight reel or a PlayStation controller inside of Lamar Jackson. Probably one of the biggest threats that the Ravens have. That being said, if you can help contain him, and I will use the old ESPN slogan, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. If you can contain Lamar Jackson from stopping to what he did to Tennessee, the Buffalo Bills are going to be just fine. Because we know they can put up points. The Buffalo Bills can drop 40 points on you when they need to. They're going to need to. This is going to be a shootout. But the Buffalo Bills are going to win this game. And I hate to say that because I like the Ravens. I like how they're put together. I love Lamar Jackson. He is dynamic. I love watching this kid play football. But the Bills are going to... And look, I haven't looked up what the weather's going to be like, but the weather in Buffalo in January sucks. So if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you know what I'm talking about. And it's perfect for Buffalo playoff football. Buffalo Bills over the Ravens on Saturday. Then on Sunday, get ready, you guys. Sunday, the first game on Sunday is 12:05 kickoff here in the West Coast. Browns, Chiefs. Now, I went on and I said something, I don't want to say silly. I'm going to put it on the website tonight. I have look, the Browns went in and, what's the right word? They dismantled the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, part of it was Pittsburgh shooting themselves in the foot with the first snap of the game going over the head of Ben Roethlisberger into the end zone and the Cleveland Browns jumping on it. But the Cleveland Browns were up 21-0 before Pittsburgh even knew what hit them. That team defensively and that team offensively can put some points on the board. Nick Chubb, stud. Baker Mayfield, stud. Jarvis Landry, stud. Okay? The Browns can dump points. The Chiefs' defense is not that good. They can dump points on people. 100%. Patrick Mahomes, awesome. And he's got some weapons. But that defense for the Chiefs is not what I think it needs to be to stop Cleveland or Baltimore or Buffalo. It's just not there. I don't like to bet on sports. Doesn't make it fun for me. But I did make a wager with a family member that likes the Chiefs, and I said Browns over Chiefs. I'm sticking with that. The Chiefs will not get back to the AFC Championship game. I've got the Browns beating Kansas City on the first game on Sunday afternoon. The second game on Sunday is probably the more exciting one, if you will. Two Hall of Famers, toe-to-toe. Last time we saw this, Tom Brady was with New England, but he's down in Tampa. He's been playing well. I say that because Washington gave them a run. I picked Washington. In fact, last week, I was 5 for 6. The only game I lost, Washington hosting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay pulled it out. Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. Tom Brady's a Hall of Famer. Tom Brady is losing a step and is not. I don't think it's. How do I say this? I think Tom Brady will be just fine. I think the players around him don't realize how to play playoff football at Tom Brady's level. Does that make sense? Because Tom Brady in the playoffs flips a switch and he becomes playoff Tom Brady. It's like he puts a cape on his back, TB12 on it. And I don't think, I saw this in the Washington game, that when certain things happen, Brady is expecting people to do certain things, and when they don't do it, he gets a little fired up. This team, I don't think, understands how to play playoff football at Tom Brady's playoff football level. For that, Tom Brady's run is over in New Orleans, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Drew Brees hurt, and Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara, who, look, I mentioned studs on Cleveland. Alvin Kamara is a stud. This guy runs through everybody. I love Alvin Kamara. I love Drew Brees. I love the Saints in this game. They're going to take down the Buccaneers. That'll set up your AFC and NFC champions. So you'll have Packers, Saints, which is what I picked at the beginning of the year, in the NFC. And in the AFC, listen, if you told me at the beginning of the year the AFC Championship would be Bills-Browns, you would have laughed at me. Not because of Buffalo, but because of Cleveland. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to happen. So your AFC Championship game is going to be Buffalo Bills, Cleveland Browns. And by the way, if that happens, that means the AFC Championship game will come to Buffalo. January 24th, late January, football in Orchard Park, New York. It is miserable up there. The Cleveland Brown fans are going to love it. So your AFC Championship in my books, again, Bills, Browns. NFC is going to be Packers and Saints. We have a few minutes left. Here's what I want to do with you guys. We've got a lot of updates happening to the studio, a lot of updates happening with infrastructure and stuff like that here. So that's why we're doing 2 shows next week, to give you guys all of the greatest, newest stuff that we have going on here at the TSE, and I'm so excited. Let me throw something out at you, though. Let me throw a question out at you, because I'm curious about this. I have a thought about this, but I want to know what you guys think. So, 2 things. Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston. Looks like everybody wants out of Houston. I can't figure out why. J.J. Watt, I don't think is going to be there much longer either. But Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston. Houston said they're not going to trade him. I don't think they have a choice here. I don't think they have a choice. Deshaun Watson's going to end up playing somewhere else. Where does he go? Lots of questions about that. So I want to know what you guys think. Email us, fans@tseShow.com. Hit us up on the website at the TSEShow.com, or Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Hit us up anywhere you want, and you let me know where you think Deshaun Watson's going to land. Here's the other question I have for you. We're staying in the NFL. By the way, 3-0 still Tampa, start of the second period. Here is my question for all of my NFL fans. The debacle that is going on in Philadelphia right now. There are a lot of teams that need a head coach. add Philly to the list. We mentioned when this happened. Okay, so the last game of the season, Week 17, saw Philadelphia and the Washington football team. And look, I said this on the other podcast. I said this on the live shows over the weekend. That was a tank job that was executed in the worst possible fashion you could execute a tanking. Let's face it, okay? Doug Peterson didn't do it the right way. But Doug Peterson also took it on himself, said, oh, it was my decision solely. No, it wasn't. I don't care who you ask. That was not Doug Peterson's sole decision to tank that game and make the decisions he made. No, it wasn't. But he got fired for it. Now, here's my question to all my NFL fans. You had a rift between Carson Wentz, the guy you drafted, and Doug Peterson. We had for sure that Carson Wentz was moving on. And we were talking during the live shows on where he ends up. I like the fact that he could end up in New England. Well, let me take that back. I like for Carson Wentz that he could end up in New England. I hate the fact that he could end up in New England because that's the AFC East and that's Buffalo's division. But he could end up in New England. But now you have fired Doug Peterson. There's no more rift because there's no more head coach. So now you have Carson Wentz, who was on his way out. Is he staying in Philly? My thinking, no shot. You got Jalen Hurts. He's already shown that he can play the position. He's still young. He's still green behind the ears for sure. But if I'm Carson Wentz, I have a feeling this team is done with me. And I don't want to stay around now as an afterthought. Oh, you were going to move on. Oh, the coach has gone down. Maybe you come back and see who. No, I'm done. Thanks, Philly. But I'm going to move. I'm going to go on. I'm going to go to New England. I'm going to go to Houston. They're going to need a quarterback. Not going to go to Jacksonville because Jacksonville's got the number 1 overall pick, and I would assume that is Trevor Lawrence. You're not going to, and there's some other questions on some of these other quarterbacks, like Mac Jones from Alabama, who just won the national championship. Does his stock skyrocket, and does he go number 2, 3, or 4? Because now, if you're a Jets fan, this gets interesting. I digress. But if I'm Carson Wentz, that's a whole other show, by the way. But if I'm Carson Wentz, I'm done. I'm not staying in Philly. They didn't want me, clearly. So I'm moving on, and I'm going to restart. And I think, just my 2 cents, this is what I'm going to leave you guys with. When Carson Wentz moves, here's where I would put him, where I think he would shine. Hey, 49ers fans, wouldn't you love to have Carson Wentz? If he stays healthy, he could take you to a Super Bowl in 49er territory. Not saying Jimmy Garoppolo can't, because he did, but there's some injuries there. I think Carson Wentz in 49er territory would do you some good. That's all the time we have, you guys. I wish I could stay on more. But again, we have 2 shows next week. Look at the website and look at the text on when you're going to see those shows come up. And we'll get them up to you as soon as we can. 4 brand new podcasts coming too. 4 new episodes coming. You guys take care of each other. Be good humans. We'll see you next week. 2 shows, 2 live shows, 4 podcasts coming up. What more could you ask from us? Be good humans. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. And go Bills.